the awardees are expected to go to the red carpet for a photograph with their awards. All right. Now, jam your hands together. As a great welcome, my father, my papa, Restaurant ENUGU House for the last section of the ENUGU speech and sound competition. Jam your hands together.
So, now you are clapping, let me tell you something. You know my pastor, he said he's going to give 20,000. As I'm talking to you, the 40,000 is breathing in my account. So it is not.
You understand? So jam your hands together for my.
Hello. Well, it's been a beautiful day. I want to seize this opportunity to say a big thank you to the organizers of this event, my sons, my children, my babies. And I'm sure that at the end of this exercise, we are going to make more sons and more daughters from this home. People that are going to take the crown and run like they are running today. I see you seated out there, and it shall come to pass in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you very much. I was told that I have only 10 minutes for this exercise. We've already had the first segment of the speech, sound and the speech competition. Here we are left with the second segment. And in this segment, we have 5 schools, returning schools, after the first exercise. And I'm going to call to the podium. She's already standing with me, the Junior Speech Ambassador of Nigeria, Queen Benita Amechi, to call the returning schools.
The returning schools for the second segment are 1. CIC ENUGU.
If the name is called, the school name is called the representative, the same person that did the writing in the morning, Mount the podium.
2. Queen's Secondary School. 3. Bethel Secondary School.
Bethel Secondary School.
4. Queen's Model Secondary School.
Queen's Model.
5. Solid Base Private School.
Solid Base Private School. So we have 5 schools here returning for the second segment. And in the second segment, we shall be having a reading exercise. And here, while you read, there are words that are marked that we are listening carefully to get your pronunciation for those words. Where's the 5th person? So, listen attentively to the instructions before the reading commences. We've also made available some of the copies of what they will be reading for the audience. So while they read, go through to help to assess their performance. Thank you. At this juncture, we shall commence. And as the reading goes, I will be here scoring them. The instruction. Answer them with CIC. Please listen attentively to the instruction. in not more than 2 minutes. Read the following passage carefully, paying rapt attention to how you pronounce the underlined words. Bear in mind that the words would form our criteria to decide how you performed at the end of the exercise. Be informed that failure to conclude your reading within the stipulated time would result in your losing of 50 marks. Above all, your speech, sound, and your speed of reading is all that matters most to us. When you hear ready, steady, go, you commence your reading. College of the Immaculate Conception, CIC ENUGU. Here is to you. Ready, steady, go.
Caressed by the droughts, let loose gossipingly through the aisle of Lufthansa Airbus. The Caesar from the gaol gave a bite to the stick and spat it out on a eel that walked off the runway to endure taunts and a crescendo of boos. Animals are not our bona fide friends, but a couple of them, like lambs, can be paradoxically amiable to give us a curative kinetics out of indigestion. Caught in the bliss of Houston, after touching down the tarmac, the liberated Caesar thought of a debut with a buffet to the front of a bouquet to the hands. When a king eats and gnashes his teeth, the subject sits and eats, but nothing. A chandelier to a castle can be like a facade to an edifice, not in analogies but in logic. From the palace, we once heard listening to Caesar Leonard that a peasant farmer needs more than education to heal his children than pediatrician. I wanted to shoot out my pseudopodia in motion like unicellular, but the aftermath of a jeopardy, I fear, wouldn't in any way be comparable to the laws propounded by Albert Einstein. The return at last of the Caesar was to the subjects a bottled and peppered surprise, and to the Caesar himself, vice versa. One wondered how they influenced the police to accept the alibi.
Thank you, CIC. Shall we put our hands together for him? Thank you. Next on our list is Queen's School ENUGU. Queen's School, the instruction remains the same. And please take note, you don't repeat any word or any sentence. On hearing, ready, steady, go, you commence. Okay, we are here on you. Queen's School ENUGU, ready, steady, go.
Harassed by the drought, let loose gossipingly through the eye of Lufthansa Airbus. The Caesar from the guard gave a bite to the steak and spat it out on the airway that walked off the runway to endure tails and a crescendo of boos. Animals are not our bona fide friends, but a couple of them, like lambs, can be paradoxically amiable to give us a corrective kinetics out of indigestion. Caught in the bliss of Houston, after touching down the tarmac, the liberated Caesar thought of a debut with a buffet to the front and a bouquet to the hands. When a king eats and gnashes his teeth, the subject sits and eats, but nothing. Ancient lead to a castle can be like a facade to an edifice, not in analogies, but in logic from the palace. We once heard listening to Caesar Leonard that a peasant farmer needs more of education to heal his children than pediatricians. I had wanted to shoot out my pseudopodia in motion like unicellular, But the aftermath of the Joe body, I fear, wouldn't in any way be comparable to the laws propounded by Albert Einstein. The return at last of the Caesar was to the subjects a bottled and peppered surprise, and to the Caesar himself, vice versa. One wondered how they influenced the police to accept the alibi. Should I read the medical paragraph? We stand is variety only and only when the two vertical bars complement an inverted V, and the inversion you had trust me is submissiveness in humility.
Thank you, Queen's School ENUGU. The speed is wonderful. But I don't know about the speech. We shall know at the end of this exercise. Third on our list is Belfort Secondary School. Who is the representative? The rules remain the same. Do not forget not to repeat any word or sentence or phrase. Our hearing of ready, steady, go.
Curious by the
Comments.
curious by the draw.
No. Okay, from second school, ENUGU, ready, steady, go.
Curious by the draw, let loose, gossiping through the eye of Lufthansa Airbus. The Caesar of the guile gave a bite to the steak and spat it out and knew that walked off the runway to endure taunts and crescendo of boos. Animals are not our butterfly friends, but a couple of them, like lions, can paradoxically be able to give us curative kinetics out of indigestion. Caught in the place of Houston, after touching down the tarmac, the liberated Caesar thought of a debut with a buffet to the front and a bouquet to the hands. When the king eats and gnashes his teeth, the subject sits and eats but nothing. A chandelier to a castle can be like a facade to an edifice, not in analogies, but in logic. From the palace we once heard, listening to Caesar Leonard, that peasant farmer needs more of education to heal his children than pediatricians. I wanted to shoot out of my pseudopodia in motion like unicellular, but the aftermath of the jeopardy I fear wouldn't in any way be compared to the laws propounded by Albert Einstein. The return at last of the Caesar was to the subject, the bottle and pepper surprise, and to the Caesar himself vice versa. One wondered how they influenced the police to accept the alibi. We stand in its verity only and only when the two vertical bars complement an inverted V, and the inversion, you trust me, is submissiveness and humility.
Round of applause for Belfort Secondary School. Next on our list is Queen's Model. Queen's Model Secondary School, ENUGU. Here is to you. Ready, steady, go.
Caressed by the drought, let loose gossipingly through the eye of Lufthansa Airbus. The Caesar from the car gave a bite to the stick and spat it out on a hill that walked off the runway to endure taunts and a crescendo of boos. Animals are not our benefit friends, but a couple of them, like lambs, can be paradoxically amiable to give us secretive kinetics out of indigestion. Caught in the bliss of Houston, after touching down the tarmac, the liberated Caesar thought of a debut with a buffet to the front and a bouquet to the hands. When the king eats and gnashes his teeth, the subject sits and eats but nothing, which in dialect to the castle can be like a facade to an edifice, not in analogies, but in logic. From the palace we once heard, listening to Caesar Leonard, that a peasant farmer needs more than education to heal his children than in pediatricians. I'd wanted to shoot out of my pseudopodia in motion like unicellular, but the aftermath of the jeopardy I fear wouldn't in any way be comparable to the laws propounded by Albert Einstein. The return at last of the Caesar was to the subject a bottled and peppered surprise, and the Caesar himself vice versa. One wondered how they influenced the police to accept the alibi. W stamped it empty, holy and holy, when it took medical guards. Compliments and inverted V, and inversion, trust me, is submissiveness in English.
Thank you, Queen's Model Secondary School. And finally on the list is Solid Base Private School. Instruction remains the same. And here we go. Ready, steady, go.
Caressed by the drought, let those gossiping through the
Stop.
aisle.
Audible, project.
Caressed by the drought, let those gossiping through the aisle of Lufthansa Airbus. The Caesar from the goal gave a bite to the steak and spat it out on an eel that walked off the wrong way to endure thorns of crescendo bulls. Animals are not our bona fide friends, but a couple of them, like lambs, can be paradoxically amenable to give us a curative kinetics out of indigestion. Caught in the bliss of Houston, after touching down the tarmac, the liberated Caesar thought of a debut with a buffet to the front of the bouquet. To the hands, when a king eats and gnashes his teeth and subjects sit and eats but nothing. A chandelier to the castle can be like a facade, and to an edifice not in analogies but in logic from the palace. We once heard listening to Caesar Leonard that a peasant farmer needs more of education to heal his children than pediatricians. I wanted to shoot out my pseudopia in motion like unicellular, but the aftermath of the jeopardy, I fear it wouldn't in any way be comparable to the laws propounded by Albert Einstein. The return at the last of the Caesar was to subject a bottle and pepper surprise, and to the Caesar himself vice versa. One wondered how they influenced the police to accept the alibi.
Thank you, Sullivan. Yes. Chairman. Well, this is the end of the exercise. I want you to listen attentively to be able to score yourselves. The audience should read with me. Caressed by the draft. Not. Let loose gossipingly through the aisle of Lufthansa Airbus. The Caesar from the jail. Yes, that's jail. This is a pronunciation as J-A-I-L. The Caesar from the jail gave a bite to the steak and spat it out on a U. That walked, audience please, that walked off the runway to endure thorns and a crescendo. Is of Italian origin. SC is pronounced sh. Crescendo of bulls. Animals are not our bona fide. Fide, not bona fide. Animals are not our bona fide friends, but a couple of them, like lambs. The B is silent. Words with A and B ending, U and B ending, I and B ending have mute B. You don't pronounce B. C-L-I-M-B is not climb. It is climb. The B is always silent for I and B, A and B, U and B, and O and B. Animals are not our bona fide friends, but a couple of them, like lambs, can be paradoxically amiable to give us a curative kinetics of kinetic energy. Kinetic. Yes, that's the right pronunciation. Take it back home. Kinetic energy. It's never kinetic energy. end prefix, it becomes what? Indigestion. Shall we proceed, please? Caught in the bliss of history. Houston, Texas. Pronounced as Houston, not Houston. After touching down the topic, the liberated Caesar thought of a debut is of French origin. French words, in French words, most terminal consonants are silent. That's why we say très bien. S is not pronounced. Vous, S is not pronounced. Avez-vous, the Z is not pronounced. Most terminal consonants of French are silent. Thought of a debut with a buffet to the front and a bouquet. If you don't get the diphthong at the end for those two words, you are not right. A has to end it. Buffet, bouquet, those are also words from French. The terminal consonants are silent, and the E becomes a diphthong. A, not just bouquet or bouquet. For you to be right, it has to end with A. Hello? Shall we proceed? Bouquet to the hands. When a king eats and gnashes the cheek, silent. And gnashes his teeth. The subjects sit and eat, but nothing. A chandelier. The word is also of French origin.